Hi, my name's Veronica, and today I'm going to be doing my February wrap-up. In the month of February, I read a total of 8 books, which is actually quite a bit for me, and I'm pretty proud. In this video, I will show you the book, if I have it with me, and I will give you a brief synopsis of it, and I will tell you a little bit of my opinions on it, and I'll give you a star rating from 1 to 5. However, if you want to see a more detailed review, though not a whole lot more detailed, just a little bit more detailed review, you can go to my Goodreads. I will leave the link below. You can add me as a friend, you can read my reviews, and keep up with what I'm reading all the time. Alright, without further ado, let's get started. The first book that I read in the month of February was Under the Overpass by Mike Yankowski, and this book is a memoir about 2 guys named Mike and Sam, and they felt called by God to be homeless for a while so that they had more of an understanding for homeless people in the world today. So they spent 5 months, when they could have been in college, homeless on the streets. It was very real, and it brought up some extremely honest points about how good Christians really aren't as good as we should be. And the book totally changed my perspective, and I think it was something that I really needed to read. It was kind of a huge eye-opener in my life and how I treat other people. So I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. Alright, the second book that I read this month was The Raft by S.A. Bodine, I think. And this is about a young girl named Robbie, and she is taking a cargo flight from her aunt's house back to her home island when the plane crashes and sinks, and she's left with a raft and the co-pilot of the plane named Matt. It's a very, very thrilling read, and it kept you captivated all the time because she was constantly faced with more and more problems, and you never knew what was going to happen, if somebody was going to find her, if she was even going to live. This book, I read it in a day, and I thought it was just amazing. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The third book that I read was Uglies by Scott Westerfield, and if you watched my top 5 bench warmers video, this was in there because this is one of the books that's been on my shelf the longest. So after making that video, I was inspired to start reading some of the books that have been on my shelf for a long time. Sadly, this one was a disappointment to me. It is about a girl named Tally, and she's living in a dystopian world where until the age of 16 you are considered ugly, and once you reach 16 you have a cosmetic surgery that changes you into a pretty. And Tally is so excited to become a pretty. She's just days away until she gets wrapped up in an investigation. Last third of the book was very good, very fast-paced, and I flew through it and really enjoyed it. But the first 2/3 just dragged on, and I felt like there was way too much exposition, and just really didn't enjoy the first bit of it at all. I do like Tally pretty well, and her love interest David I'm quite fond of. I'm fond of them together. So I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. The next book I have is The Paris Wife by Paula McLean, and this is an adult novel, and it follows Hadley and Ernest Hemingway. It is not an autobiography or even a biography. It's just a fictional kind of retelling, I guess, but 90% of the things they talk about are true and did happen, and it follows their love from when they meet until when they divorce. If you don't know, Hadley was Ernest Hemingway's first wife out of 4, and he's just such an interesting character. I have some choice words that I could use about him, but I won't. The story, however, was very, very well written, but it was a little slow at times. It took me quite a while to read it. It seemed like we would often go off on chapter-long tangents that had nothing to do with anything, really, and they could have been taken out, and this book could have been a whole lot shorter and a whole lot quicker of a read. So I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars. Okay, this next book, I'm gonna have to contain myself because I might cry a little bit because I have a lot of emotions and a lot of feelings about this book. A lot of feelings. And this book is Letting Anna Go by Anonymous. This book is in the tradition of Go Ask Alice, so if you've ever read Go Ask Alice, you kind of sort of know what goes on in this book. It is the anonymous diary of a teenage girl. This one happens to be about a girl who is dealing with anorexia nervosa. The book starts with a completely healthy teenage girl, and it follows her as she is overcome by the disease and how she fights for recovery and relapses, and it just follows her whole entire journey, and it is heartbreaking. It is so heartbreaking. I mean, I finished the book and I just had to sit there and cry because it's so hard to think about. And if you deal with this, I'm so sorry, and I'm totally here for you. I don't want to turn this video into like some, reach out video, but this book sparked a lot of things in my heart. But on a kind of less serious note, the love interest that is in this book is a boy named Jack, and he is one of the best fictional guy characters that I've ever read about in my life. He is the most supportive boyfriend, and the relationship to start out with before she becomes more obsessed with her weight than anything is just such a beautiful relationship, and it's one of my top favorite relationships, and he is one of my top favorite male characters, and I absolutely love him. So despite all of the emotions it caused me, I did give this book 5 out of 5. After I read Letting Anna Go, I needed something very light to read because that one was a very heavy book. So I went with another Anna book, and that is Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins. And of course, I have heard so many things about this and so many things about Lola and the Boy Next Door. And then the third one, which is Isla and the Happy Ever After, or the Happily Ever After, something like that. But I had never read them, so I decided, hey, I need a light contemporary romance novel for the month of February. So I decided to finally pick it up, and I am so glad that I did. I borrowed this from the library, but right now I am like on a mission to find my own copy. However, I don't want this cover. I want the like pink one. You know what I'm talking about? The really pretty covers. That's what I want. This book follows a girl named Anna as she travels to Paris, where her father has enrolled her in a French boarding school. While she's there, she makes a lot of new friends, one of which is a very charming guy named St. Clair, and she kind of likes him. Thing is, he has a girlfriend, so she's a little kind of screwed. But they're best friends anyway. I wasn't fond of a whole lot of the characters in this book, other than Anna and St. Clair, and then Anna's friend Josh. The rest of them didn't really make a good impression on me. Sally, yeah. But St. Clair is, holy cow, one of the most swoon-worthy. I struggle to talk about books. Why do I have a booktube account? I can't even talk about books because I get so overcome with my fangirl emotions that I don't even know what to say. But yes, I'm definitely joining the fangirl club, the Stephanie Meyer. Oh, joined that one a long time ago. The Stephanie Perkins Fangirl Club, and I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. I read for a Goodreads read-along, and I showed it in my February book haul, and that is Angel Fall by Susan E. And this book is about an angel apocalypse. I really enjoyed this story, surprisingly. I am very much opposed to angel fiction. It's never been something that it's appealed to me. I've always hated it. I mean, I've always really hated it. But I enjoyed this despite the fact that there were angels. I think it would have been better for me if it weren't angels, but whatever. I hardcore ship Penryn and Rafi. It's not a spoiler. I'm not giving anything away. I'm just saying I ship them. I really ship them. Quite a bit. Yep, quite a lot. One thing I loved about this book was the characters. There's some pretty creepy characters throughout the story, one of which is Penryn's own mother, who has schizophrenia, and I am fascinated by mental illness, and so it is so cool to read about her having schizophrenia. Okay, maybe not cool. That may have not been the appropriate word to use, but you know what I mean. So I gave this book 4 out of 5. The final complete book that I read in the month of February is The Storyteller by Jodi Picoult, and this book is set in World War II. The characters were actually all surprisingly likable. Normally there's at least 700 characters per book that I dislike. And the plot twist at the end made the whole entire book worth it. I predicted it about 200 pages before it happened, but it was still absolutely brilliant. This book was a little different from the other books that I've read by Jodi Picoult, but regardless, I enjoyed it. I've never been a huge fan of reading about World War II. It's not that I can't handle it, it's never been something that's fascinated me. But regardless, I did enjoy this story and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. So that is all the books that I read in the month of February. I hope you enjoyed this wrap-up video. If I was talking nonsense the whole time and you didn't understand a word I said, you can go check out my Goodreads link where I kind of make a little bit more sense in those reviews because I can sit down and revise and edit and stuff, whereas in my videos I just talk. Because I'm good at talking. I talk a lot. However, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!